Hey guys, welcome to this week's Random Ramble. This week I want to talk to you about having a social life while you're trying to lose weight. And this is something that comes up with a lot of people. And I've known a lot of people who have actually given up on their weight loss mission or their fitness mission completely because they feel that it's getting in the way of their social life. And there's lots of different reasons for this. Some people go way too restrictive, and as a result they actually end up losing their social circles because they just avoid them completely. Some people are almost a little bit too nervous to talk to those around them about what it is they're trying to achieve, so they end up in this situation where they're kind of torn between whether they go for the healthy option that they've got their mindset on, but then at the same time they don't want to miss out, so they're in this sort of difficult situation where they don't know which way to go. And more often than not, the peer pressure is going to convince you to go down the route of the alcohol and the food and the stuff that's going to cause you to struggle to get to your goals. So this week I wanted to give you a few ideas of how you can actually fit your social life around still maintaining your calorie deficit and working towards those long-term goals that you have set yourself. Now, first thing that's really, really important is to make sure that you are planning and that you are prepared. Now, obviously, this isn't always possible. In a lot of cases, social events do end up being a really sporadic, out of the blue thing. But there is no doubt at all you will have stuff in your calendar that if you're smart about, you can plan for it in advance. Now, things to make sure you're doing is you need to think about what the social event is. What's it actually going to be like? Who's going to be there? What kind of stuff are you actually going to be doing? Is it going to be all based around food and alcohol? Or is there other elements to it as well? And be realistic here, okay? There's no point you telling yourself you're going to go along and be really, really good when you know for a fact it's a group of friends that you like to drink with. It's lots of activities that you're going to want to join in that are going to involve food. Be realistic here, okay? You need to make sure that you are still having a life while you're on this long-term journey. So don't convince yourself that you're going to go along and you're only going to have a certain amount of calories if you know for a fact that that's not going to be the case. So when you are planning, make sure you are being realistic. And here's a few things that you can actually think about in the build up to these social events. So the first and really obvious thing to think about is actually where can you save calories on the run up to the day. So say for example, you've got a barbecue, which is probably going to involve a little bit of drinking on Sunday. Today is Thursday. So think about how you could save calories today, Friday, and Saturday, so that when you get to Sunday, you've actually got a little bit of room to play around with. And then what you may find is if you manage to save yourself 200, 300 calories each of these 3 days, then on the Sunday, that gives you an extra 900 calories to play with. Plus, going a little bit over might not actually take you completely out of the deficit, or if it does, it might not even take you over a sort of maintenance level. And as a result, you may end up actually not gaining any weight, but still have plenty of calories to actually have a good time, to get involved in having a few drinks and having a little bit of barbecue food. Another thing to think about is how you could actually potentially save calories on the day. Now, this is for something that, don't do this for big social events because you don't want to always look, you don't want to feel like you're the person who's always turning up and you're always being really health conscious and making everyone around you feel bad. But if this is like a regular event, if you have barbecues every couple of weeks and stuff like that, then think about how you can be more aware and smarter with the calories that you're consuming at these events. So for example, having spirits instead of wine or beers or alcopops is a great way to save calories. A single shot of something like vodka, whiskey, something like that is only going to set you back about 60 calories. If you mix that with a zero sugar mixer, then it is 60 calories for that whole drink. Whereas even a low calorie bottle of beer, although a good choice, you're still looking at around about the 90 calorie mark for that. Of course, if you are a beer drinker and beer is what you want to go for, then go for a lower calorie option. So a bottle of something like Bud Light or one of these new skinny lagers that are out is around about 90 calories. Whereas if you're going for something like a bottle of Italian beer like Peroni or something like that, then you're looking at around about the 160 mark. So there's a big difference there, and you can really save calories through making small choices like that with your drinks. The other thing to think about is the food itself. So let's use barbecues again. It's very topical because of the time of year that we're at. Think about prioritizing the protein element rather than having lots of bread and lots of high calorie sources, and actually fill up on some of the veg that's options. So quite often people will do a salad at these sort of things. There's no reason you couldn't do a salad and take it along, and you could put your own low calorie dressing on it or something like that. Load up on stuff like that so you're getting that fiber to fill you up. Prioritize the protein because, again, the protein is going to be lower in calorie than stuff like the bread rolls, and it is going to fill you up quicker and for longer. So there's going to be less temptation to then dive into the things like the bowl of crisps and all that sort of stuff. So thinking about stuff like that can make a big difference. And as I sort of touched on earlier, don't be afraid to treat bigger occasions just actually as days off or weekends off or even weeks off if it's a holiday. You're not going to be on this all year round, okay? You can't get into that mindset of every single day as a diet day. At the end of the day, you're on a journey here, okay? And you need to allow yourself that little bit of freedom. So if this is a big event, if it's something like a wedding or a big birthday, even your own birthday, something like that, then actually just have it as a day off. That's okay. Yes, you can save a few calories in the build-up in the week, but one day off, one big blowout is not going to undo all your hard work, and it's not going to ruin your chances of getting to your end goal. So don't get into that habit of feeling guilty about the fact you're having a day off. It is okay to just have these occasions, these big occasions, as just little blowouts. That's just a part of real life. Just make sure that that's not a weekly thing. You're going to struggle long term if you're having a big blowout every single weekend, for example. Another thing that you really want to do, and this is something I've touched on at the very start of the video, you need to make sure that you are letting your friends and family know what it is you're trying to achieve, okay? What you want to try and get out of is being in this situation where you feel that everyone around you is trying to sabotage you. And quite often they're not. It's just that you're not really getting people to buy in to what it is you're doing. Now, if you're trying to lose weight, if this is something that's incredibly important to you, then make sure people know it. These people care about you. And if you share the fact that it's important to you, what it's going to do for your confidence, what it's going to do for your lifestyle and stuff like that, if you're honest with people about how much it means to you, then you've got a much better chance of them actually supporting you rather than trying to sabotage you. You're not going to find yourself in a situation where they're almost trying to force extra food on you, because you've been honest with them in the first place, and they're buying into your goal emotionally because they actually care about you and your journey. Now, this is something that I was really, really bad at, and this set me back a lot when I was going through my own weight loss journey. So don't make that mistake, okay? Get people around you to buy into what you're doing, and it's going to make the journey a lot more enjoyable. And you're going to find that you're going to have less of this feeling of people around you trying to sabotage your progress. And the last thing that I want to suggest is actually plan social events that aren't based around food and alcohol. Okay, if there's anything that we've learned in lockdown, it's that actually just going out and appreciating a bit of fresh air is a lovely thing to do. So get out on a walk, go for a trip to the beach, go out on a bike ride. And as things start to become less restrictive, go and do things like a day out at Go Ape or water sports or something like that, something that's not just your typical all sat around drinking and eating. It doesn't always need to be about that. Socializing can be an opportunity to get out there and explore something new. So there's a few ideas for you about how you can include a social life while you're still losing weight, okay? As I've said a few times in this, don't make everything about the weight loss. It is okay to have days off here and there and to still live your real life. So if you are someone that does like to have a drink with your friends, have a drink with your friends. Just make sure you're being smart with it and you're getting that balance right. I hope that helps, guys. As always, if you've got any questions or if there's any suggestions you'd like to make for me to talk about in the future, then let me know in the comments and I'll speak to you all soon.